From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Louie B.
Yes, it is Ticats Today for a Tuesday, October the 12th, 2021. It's your digital host, Louie B, and yes, we are talking Ticats, and the Ticats on the wrong end of a 24-23 scoreboard last night. Boris Beatty hits a game-winning 51-yard field goal as time expires. As the Ticats drop to 4-5, the Argos improve to 6-3, and the Ticats fall to third in the East Division standings. It's a tough loss. There's no way around it. We're going to hear from Coach Orlondo Steinauer as he spoke after the game. We're going to hear from Jaguar Davis. We'll be joined by Coach Sal for some Tuesday morning salutations, or I guess Tuesday afternoon salutations, depending on when you're listening to this. It came out at 4 o'clock, so the chances are you are not listening to this on Tuesday morning. But I did catch up with him this morning. But there is some news elsewhere in the CFL. We mentioned Montreal. Ticats now sitting behind Montreal by half a game. But the Montreal Alouettes announced that Vernon Adams Jr. has been placed on the 6-game injured list. He's hurt in the last minutes of yesterday's game against the Red Blacks. He suffered a shoulder injury. It won't require surgery, but will need many weeks of rehab. So the second place for now, East Division Montreal Alouettes, are without Vernon Adams Jr. for 6 games. That is the rest of the regular season for them. So we'll keep our eye on that. A huge loss elsewhere in the CFL. The Ticats are on the bye week, by the way, just in case you didn't know that, and you're wondering why I'm not talking everything Ticats right now. Just getting some news and notes around the league. So other quarterback news is that the Edmonton Elks head coach, Jamie Elizondo, says they are moving forward with Taylor Cornelius and Dakota Prukup as the quarterbacks. And that means that Trevor Harris has been benched in Edmonton. So huge news. Dave Campbell tweeting yesterday that Elizondo adds it's a hard decision to make because of his history with Harris, but says even though the struggles are not all on him, he's not getting enough out of the QB position as his starter. So huge quarterback news across the CFL to start off our Tuesday here. But let's talk about the Ticats because they were not able to get the win yesterday. Their second straight loss here at home. And first of all, I'll get my thoughts here. You can listen to a great roundtable discussion, by the way, on Tiger Cats postgame yesterday. Hitch, Andy Fantuz, Courtney Stephen, and I had a great conversation about where this team's at as they head into their second bye week. But let's talk about a little bit of the good. Malik Irons had 59 yards on 7 carries, so that's about 8 yards per carry every time he touched the football. I was really impressed by what I saw from him. I was really impressed with Jeremiah Masoli, and I know there are probably a couple of you on Twitter right now who are telling me that I'm wrong and that we can't wait for Dane Evans to be back. And first of all, Jeremiah Masoli is the starting quarterback. Jeremiah Masoli got hurt. Dane Evans is eligible to come off the 6-game injured list, I believe. I'll double-check my math, but I believe he's eligible to come off when the Ticats take on the Red Blacks on October 23rd. But I don't know how you take Masoli out of the game. He's building his confidence. Yes, he's 0-4 as a starter this year, but there's nothing on that loss you can pin on him. He was 24 of 33 for 261 yards for 2 touchdowns. He also ran for another 23 yards. He was doing it with his feet, getting first downs. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Ticats do, for sure. I mean, Dane Evans was looking good too when he came in before he got hurt. But it'll be an interesting situation to walk. But Jeremiah Masoli is the starter of this team, and I think that I'd be shocked to see anything other than Masoli start when the Ticats host the Red Blacks. Jalen Acklin had a great game. We named him our Hercules Tire Performer of the game. He had 96 yards on 6 catches, and including a beautifully caught ball for a 45-yard touchdown in the second half. So, yes, it's unfortunate the Ticats lost the game, but there's 5 games left in the season. Lots of time to figure this out. And let's hear from Coach O. Let's hear what he had to say following the game last night.
Just basically that we got to find a way to finish football games and win. That's the name of the game, right? playing well enough to win and winning are two different things, and we didn't get that done tonight. So we gotta. I just basically told them that we're heading into a bye week. The things that we want are still ahead of us. This was not an elimination game, but we've got to be better. We've got to be better in spots, period. They know that. The sting speaks, the loss speaks a lot louder than any words I can tell them. Well, I think that we were able to sustain drives on offense a little bit. We were able to get off the field. It's not always about the overall stats. Sometimes it's about the timing of how things happen in the game. We didn't get some timely stops that, we needed to. We took penalties at times that just aren't conducive to playing consistent winning football. So there's enough to spread around. And the overall thing is that we didn't finish and they did. So we'll move on. And it sure doesn't feel good. You're not in every football game that you play in. And when you are, you got to find a way to get it done. I think the untimely plays when we made plays, getting ourselves backed up on teams, taking a penalty, putting our offense in that situation, which they did an outstanding job of moving it out all night. Special teams, just those penalties that we've made in previous games, just a little bit disappointed in, everybody can't take one. Everybody can't learn off of their own. So I think that would be the disappointment. But, they played hard. We executed a lot better than we have in weeks past. You got to win football games. That's what this game is about. You have to win. Flow of the game, I thought we were okay. I didn't feel like, the momentum shifted a little bit when they went down and scored that touchdown, but the game was still within our grasp, and we controlled the majority of that outcome. But they did make some timely plays in their three phases, and we didn't. And so they know the end goal, Bubs. They really do. Focusing on that's not going to get us there. We've got to pay attention to detail. Obviously you got to win if you want a chance for the end prize. And they understand that. Focusing on that, beating that in, that's kind of not what we're about. We're going to be about our first day of practice, taking care of ourselves during the bye week. And so I wouldn't use the word desperation, but we definitely have got to play better consistently.
That is the head coach of the Hamilton Ticats, Orlondo Steinauer, as he addressed the media after the game yesterday. And there's desperation, obviously not a word that this team is going to be using right now. They still find themselves kind of in a playoff position right now. They're not out of the playoff picture. Coach mentioned it. Nobody got eliminated yesterday. And the pieces are there. The defense looks great. You have to consider the fact that Frankie Williams is probably trending to return next week. He does a lot on both sides of the football, on special teams, on defense. This team's going to get healthier. Brandon Banks, you assume, is going to be healthier, especially with this bye week. He's going to get his body right, not do any football activities. So there's a lot of confidence in this group, as there should be. A lot of the pieces are here that were here on the team that went 15-3. Yes, we understand that 2019 is a different football team. This 2021 Ticats team is not that team, but still, there were a lot of pieces from that team. And you know what? Let's be honest, this team's gone through some adversity. And Courtney Stephen mentioned it on Tiger Cats postgame that it's better to get these games, these tough losses, these gut punches out of the way now, when you still have 5 games left to figure it out, than, East semifinal, East final, Grey Cup. So this team is putting it all together. I understand that there's probably some frustration, but they're 4-5. There's 5 games left, and I still have some confidence in this group. I hope you do as well. All right, let's hear from Jagarrett Davis. He had himself a great game. He's going to mention it. Pass interfere or roughing the passer call aside. He was asked about it. You're going to hear his answer on what he saw on that play. But he had a sack. He had 2 tackles for losses. He just had a really, really big game. Here's what he had to say after the loss.
Just got to finish. We got to execute better. I mean, that's all it really comes down to is execution and lack thereof. So we've been in but 2, 3 games came down to the wire, lost at the end. It was like a execution. That's basically how I look at it. I mean, we're a team. No matter if it's players, coaches, we're a team and we didn't execute. That's what all it boils down to. So we just gotta execute better and finish our games. We execute here, there, play there. Our record looking totally different. So it is what it is. I mean, we played a hard game. They came out and executed it when they mattered the most, and we didn't. So the better team won today. I mean, I can't argue with the referees. I've never seen a referee change his mind on the call once they made it. So, I mean, I can only go with what they call. For me, I know I didn't hit his head. I mean, the way I hit him, his head rocked forward, then went back. So it might have been hellacious in their opinion. But for me, I've been in a lot of plays like that, hitting the quarterback clean. That's just not my pedigree to get late hits on the quarterback, but they called it. I mean, got to live with it. They got to one snap and clear, go to the next play. Most definitely. I mean, having a bye week, regardless of when it comes, is a blessing. So just for it to come at this moment, at this point in time, it's great. I mean, we got some guys still nicked and bruised. So everybody needs to, you know what I'm saying? They one snap and clear, time away, refresh your mind, fresh your memory, you know what I'm saying? Come in fresh, ready to lock in, coach. The East is still up in there, to be honest with you. I mean, we just played a good team. They are first in the East, but it's still close. It's too close. It's too close to call. A game here, a game there, everything could be changed. So it's gonna be interesting this final stretch.
Would desperation be a word in that vocabulary, or?
Never, not at all. It's still gonna be taken as one game at a time. You can't win the Grey Cup today, so all we got to worry about our next opponent I think it's on the 23rd. That's the most important game of the season for us. The next game. And that's gonna be the mindset every game going out. There's been a mindset since day one, so it's not gonna change now.
That is Jagarrett Davis as he spoke to the media after last night's game. And I know typically after, the first show after a game day, I take to Twitter and I get your thoughts on how the Ticats played or how you're feeling about the Ticats. I decided to give that just another day to breathe. It was a long weekend. You probably had a lot of turkey. You got home late last night. You might need a couple days to calm down. So I'll ask you tomorrow, but you can let me know at @LouisB_TV. You give me your thoughts on where the Ticats are as they are in their second bye week of the season. You give me your thoughts on last night's game. But you can hit me up on Twitter at @LouisB_TV. This is a nice reminder that you can follow me on Twitter. And you can also subscribe to the Ticats audio network so you never miss an episode of this show or any of our other great shows, including a brand new episode of the CFL This Week with Bubba O'Neill that dropped today, and a brand new episode of the Coach O Show with Luke Tasker, and lots of great stuff in that one. All right, very pleased now to be joined by my friend Coach Sal for some Tuesday salutations with Coach Sal. John Salavantis. Sal, it's a tough loss, obviously, for the Ticats, so I'll give you the floor. Where do you want to start?
Well, I think you go back to what Coach O said after the ball game. You've got to finish. That's the object of the game, is to win. So you've got to be able to finish. And in these tight games, so there's usually the 3 to 5 plays that make a difference in the ball game. And I think in this ball game, number one, the roughing the passer penalty on the interception was huge in the game. Second to that, I think the fake punt was one of those situations where the risk reward was not there. The Argos were able to go down and get 3 points off of that field position. I think those things, plus I really feel like, and I don't want to say this in such a negative way that people think it's wrong, but when you're inside that red zone, you've got to be aggressive. You've got to go for the touchdown. I think we were way too conservative in that last series on the goal line inside the 10-yard line, and we're playing conservative ball. I think you've got to let Mazzoli roll out, give him an option to run or pass the ball. to the end zone. If you don't get it, then you get your field goal.
I was about to say there was a lot of time on the clock, and I think that's what people are looking at, is that there were still about 2 minutes left and 3 points in that situation. Like you said, the play call, we're not in the room, we don't know, but it did seem like the Ticats were they were playing not to lose. If that makes any sense.
Not necessarily, Louis. I think they were playing to run the clock down. But when you only have 2 plays in which to do that, you're only taking 20 seconds off each time. So you're going to leave the other team an opportunity to get the ball, which they did. But I really believe you've got to be aggressive. If you're going to be a championship team, you've got to be aggressive in the red zone. One of the real hallmarks of good teams is you get in the red zone, you score touchdowns.
Yeah. It was a good game. I mean, I think that's what's kind of lost, is that Masoli had a good game. Defensively, they played well. How do you kind of get over a loss in which the team plays well, you feel like you did everything right, but you still come out on the wrong side of it?
Well, you're paid to win, and that's the bottom line. But like you said, the defense played well. I thought Davis coming down the line of scrimmage, making the tackles behind the line of scrimmage, that was a scheme. They weren't worried about Bethel McLeod rolling to the outside. So when that handoff went away from Davis, he was free to come right down the line of scrimmage. I think one of the things that was lost in the talks afterwards was a play of Dylan Wynn. I thought Wynn played exceptionally well on the inside. I mean, Foster had 7 carries for 7 yards. And yet the Argos were able to win. On the flip side of that, we talked last week about having an inside runner. I think Malik Irons showed that he can run on the inside. He carried the ball 7 times for 59 yards. That's an 8.4 average. Now you go ahead and you use early on the outside with the screen type passes and the little bubble screens, et cetera, and you've got a 1-2 duo that can pay dividends down the road.
Offensive line, Chris Van Zyl was back. We saw Murray flip from the right side to the left side. Okafor was out. Just your overall assessment, because it seems like this is the group. This is going to be the group going forward, barring any injuries, the status of Okafor aside. What did you see from them? And considering it was the first time that unit played together, how do you see them continuing to grow?
Well, I think it was a great move. We were waiting for Van Zyl to get back. He gets back, and they moved Murray over to the left side. He did a good job on that side. There were 2 sacks in the game, if I remember right, against Mazzoli. One of the sacks came with what we call a jet, which is a linebacker on the outside of a defensive end on the line of scrimmage, and that was on Van Zyl's side. Mm-hmm. You have several ways that you can counter that. If you have an uncovered lineman on the inside, you go ahead and you zone out to that man so that Van Zyl would take the outside guy. His responsibility on a 2-man rush from that side is to take the inside man. So he took the inside man, the outside man comes free. The other sack, if I remember right, was off of a play action pass. And what you should do when you get that jet on the outside, this time it was on the left-hand side of the offense, you get that jet out there, you abort the fake. Don't worry about the fake. It doesn't make any difference because that guy's going to get to the quarterback. So you just abort the fake and go out and block him. Now, given that, and given Malik Irons' ability to run on the inside, giving the screen pass that went for a touchdown on the outside, I think this line is the line to go forward with. And I thought Murray played very well on the left side.
You never want to go into a bye week after a loss. That's what I've heard. It tends to kind of stick with you a little bit longer through the week. Maybe you don't enjoy your time off as much, but did this bye week almost come at the perfect time for the Ticats? Because now they can kind of shift their focus to the final third of this season here and really kind of hit the gas button for the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to get this, and you've got to now look in the mirror and decide as a player, did I give it my best shot? Did I do the things I was supposed to do? Was I within the scheme that the coach has asked me to do. All of that, and then come back with a fresh attitude going down the line. Optimism really favors from the top down, meaning, and you guys talked with the caretaker prior to the game. He's such an optimistic person. He passes that on to his staff inside. They pass it on to the coaching staff to the players. And I think the second half of the season coming up, even though there's some tough games in there, there's games, every game's a tough game. But I think we get Ottawa next. And then from there, it's Edmonton. Then it's BC. Then it's back to Toronto. And then it's with Saskatchewan. So that's not an easy sledding going down.
Yeah, and you have to wonder, getting your body right, but also getting your mind right. And that was something we talked about on Tiger Cats postgame. Hitch and Andy were kind of of the sense that it is important that you do take a couple of days away from the facility, that you do try and, not think about football. But where you stand on that as a former coach? What do you think what guys should be doing this bye week?
I think exactly what those guys were talking about. They've got to get out and clear their heads. And so do the coaches. So often we as coaches would go right back to the office and just pour over everything for those days and not clear our minds to give that back to the players later on. So I think it's so important. The whole organization needs to take a couple days off. Take a deep breath. We're not out of this thing. We're going to get in the playoffs. We would like to be first in the playoffs. If not, then we'll fight our way through and come out on the other end.
Okay, well, I'm taking that as my blessing, as your blessing for me to take a couple of days off. If you're saying the whole organization can take a few days off, I think I'm going to enjoy my Saturday and Sunday and not think about football.
I think that's a great idea for you, Louis. Go out and have a good time.
That's always a guarantee. Coach Sal, thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate it as always.
You're more than welcome. Nice talking with you.
My thanks to Coach Sal for joining me today, and my thanks to you as well. Always do appreciate it. Could not do this show without you or your support. So my genuine appreciation for you. And a day after Thanksgiving, I'm very thankful to have some loyal listeners who shout at me. As hopefully you're shouting good things. By the way, I've noticed that a couple of times. We've been on the northwest corner doing our broadcast, and people are shouting Louis B. I'm going to be honest. I'm not trying to be rude, but I do have my headphones in, and I am in the middle of a live show. So hopefully you're saying nice things. Because, I'd appreciate you saying nice things as opposed to mean things. Anyway, that's all the time we got for today's show. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. As mentioned, the Ticats are off this week, so we'll be filling the show with content from around this CFL, different guests, but we'll have more insights into Monday's game on tomorrow's show. So make sure to join us same time, same place, right here on the Ticats Audio Network. I'm Louis B. Hoping you have a great day.
Ticats Today with Louis B. Subscribe, like, and get your Ticats fix every weekday.